I knew it couldn't last forever. I left El Paso with the motor just purring away, got right through New Mexico with no problem at all. Then I got here to Benson, Arizona, got fuel, went bad. It turns out the starter solenoid wouldn't shut off. The starter was just constantly running, drawing current. Eventually it shorted out, burned out my battery cable, and of course my battery is probably dead by now. So, this being a Friday, the place that I called couldn't help me until Monday. It's a good thing that I'm here at the truck stop. I got a good place to stop for the weekend. I got solar, you know, I'm boondocking already. Still, I might as well forget about this month's budget. Well, I talked to a friend yesterday about this problem, and he said to replace the starter solenoid. I also checked online, and it seems that this era of Ford has a problem with starter solenoids. They sometimes don't work, or they stick, which is what I had. And they have a long history, very long history, of these things going bad. You'd think that they would have solved the problem by now, but still. I had this installed in Laredo about 8 or 9 months ago, and it's already failed. That tells you how reliable this thing is. Well, I went to Napa, and I bought a different brand, and hopefully that one's going to be better, more reliable. I also replaced the battery connector because it was getting melted, and of course I had to replace the cable and the quick connector because it was melted. And also this here, well, since I don't have a battery charger, as it were, and no jumper, what I'm doing is I'm using my 100 watt solar panel, the portable one, to charge the battery. It's kind of a cloudy day, so it's probably going to take a while. Hopefully it will work. As you can see, there's a lot of cables that go to the starter solenoid. The one in the bottom goes to the starter itself, and the bundle that goes on the top, that goes, well, to the battery obviously, and also to the standby charge system, which, you know, charges my house batteries when I am driving. There's a few other wires that go someplace else, and then of course there's the wire from the ignition switch. It's not easy to get to, and I had to remove the battery just to get to it, but hopefully this is going to work. I mean, I applied what little power is in the battery, and the starter didn't zoom off, so it must be at least partially okay. But of course, the starter is another problem. I have to find out if it's still good. So once my battery is charged and I hit the key, I'll know whether the starter, the gears, are still in good condition. Hopefully soon. And here it is, the starter that was replaced about 8 or 9 months ago. Bad. I'm not sure if it's still under warranty or not, and I'm not even sure where it came from. But it looks like It's all internal, the problem. The gears look okay, fortunately. Fortunately, Tucson Truck Repair does mobile service, unlike an awful lot of the places in this area.
She's ready for you to try her out.
Okay. Well, here we go, the moment of truth. It started. And we got 14.7 volts, 14.5, close enough. Looks like I'm on the road again. Now that that mess is over with, time to move on to the next rest area and take a look at Arizona. The only main difference I see between New Mexico and Arizona is, in Arizona, the mountains seem to have some vegetation. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same geography. Yeah, Arizona is only slightly different than New Mexico. As I said, the hills have got vegetation. And it's about as sandy as New Mexico. Although New Mexico had a bit more rocky for their mountains. The Arizona mountains appear to be more eroded. Now, it was at this point I had a choice to take the Phoenix bypass, which is very few places to stop, or I could have driven through Phoenix. I chose to go through Phoenix. Not really a good decision. I guess in a way I was stuck. I mean, I was on Interstate 10 almost all the way through Phoenix. Had to keep going. At least the drivers in the tunnel under Phoenix managed to drive sanely. I was glad to leave Phoenix behind me. I think I'll be trying the bypass next time. Fortunately, the rest of the drive through Phoenix was uneventful. Well, here I am at the end of the line, sort of. This is the last stop on my trip from Texas to Arizona before I reach my next stop, which will begin my new adventure out here in Arizona. I thought, of course, that this trip was going to be rather uneventful, but as you have seen, there's been a few things that happened in a few places I've seen. And of course, I expect to see even more. And I'll bring you along for that ride.